Hi everybody, thanks for watching another Whispering Oaks woodworking video. Today we're making a volcano lamp. Sometimes you get lucky and the bark comes off real easy. Sometimes, as the case is with this one, it's a little harder to get off. But you got to keep working at it. You don't want to leave that stuff on there. You will have some lamination issues. You can also get floaters in your epoxy, and nobody likes a floater. So you got to get that off of there. Now, I do need to apologize to you guys. I am sorry. I recorded about the first half of this video in the wrong ratio, so it's going to get better later on, and I'll make sure that doesn't happen for future videos. And in case you're wondering, this took about 2.5 hours to prep, between removing all the bark, trying to clean out as much of the garbage from the inside, getting it on the bandsaw to fit in the mold, about 2.5 hours. And so you're watching at about 5 times the normal speed. So there was a lot of work that went into this. Quite often I'll add extra random pieces to some of these projects just to try and take up some space, because epoxy is not cheap, and most of that's going to get turned away anyways. So if you can add stuff in there as a filler, by all means go ahead and do it. That little piece I just put in there actually turned out pretty cool. You can actually see it in the finished product. See if you can see it at the end. Here we are a couple days after putting it into the pressure pot, and you can really see how cool the colors are and how the color separation turned out on this piece. I think it's pretty spectacular. Wait till you see it at the end. It's a really neat looking piece. Just getting it turned true here, and we'll get it ready for the blocks. Okay, so here we're just trying to make sure that the epoxy is as flat as possible. We had it on the lathe, we got it pretty close, and we just used, I'm just using 60 grit on the orbital and making sure that it's as flat as it can possibly be, and it roughs it up and makes it nice for adhesion between the two pieces. And you'll see here in a little bit that I use an epoxy to mate the two pieces together. I'm using a 1-to-1 epoxy to make that happen. And you always want to make sure you're getting all the dust off as well. So I'm just using denatured alcohol here. Wipe it down really good before we put the epoxy on. and there's a few holes. You know, you're going to get that, especially with this kind of wood. It's, you know, went into the vacuum chamber and it spent time in the pressure pot, but you're going to have holes and voids and cracks, as you can see me fill in right there. So CA glue is the best way to do that, the best way to fill that stuff, in my opinion. The bigger ones, you can use a UV epoxy, but for my money, this is the best bet for all the smaller stuff. You're really starting to see the colors come out in this thing now, and it's really spectacular. Some projects you just kind of sit back and go, wow, that's really cool. This is definitely one of those. Alrighty folks, it's almost finished. I always wipe off any dust with denatured alcohol and then start out with Waterlux wood sealer and then several coats of Waterlux gloss. The lamp components all add off camera. It's just hard to tape with my hands and arms and head and everything in the way, so I'll spare you that. If you liked it, hit like. If you loved it, subscribe. If you hated it, well, still subscribe. You can watch me redeem myself next time. Leave a comment and tell me what color combos you think I should pour next and what you'd like to see me build. And also I wanted to give a special shout out to my grandniece and nephew Lori and Otto, who are really excited to see my first video on YouTube. Love you guys. Wow, look at that glow. It's like a tiny dragon moved in and started paying rent. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one.